Hey everyone, so you sent over some really interesting stuff. Thibaut Meurisse's Master Your Destiny, a practical guide.
Yeah, it's quite a read. Really gets into how we can, take the reins of our own lives.
Exactly. And that's what we want to do in this deep dive, right? Pull out the practical, actionable bits from the guide.
hmm Help people figure out how they can actually become the architects of their own future.
And the core idea, the thing that really jumps out, is how the stories we tell ourselves literally shape our reality.
Absolutely. And the guide's definition of story is key here. It's not just like a bedtime story.
Right, it's deeper.
Yeah, it's your core beliefs, how you see the world, the whole narrative you use to make sense of things.
And often filled with assumptions that might not even be true.
That's a big part of it. The book points that out clearly.
Okay, let's unpack that. The guide gives examples, right? Like thinking, oh, I could never learn Japanese, or I'm just not cut out for managing people.
Or even that classic one, you have to be dishonest to get rich.
Yeah, exactly. And realizing these are just, well, models we've built in our heads. That's kind of a wake-up call.
It really is. They're not facts, just interpretations. That's a huge takeaway right there.
So the practical thing for listeners is to step back and ask, is my current story actually helping me?
Right. And the guide has a simple test. Look at your results. Look at how satisfied you feel, generally.
If you're consistently feeling, I don't know, frustrated or stuck.
Then yeah, it's a pretty strong sign your underlying story might be holding you back.
And here's the hopeful part, I think. These beliefs, they aren't fixed, are they? Like carved in stone.
Not at all. That's central to the book's message. They're more like habits.
Habits of thought and feeling.
Exactly. Thoughts, feelings, actions repeated over and over. That's what builds a belief.
Like the perseverance example.
Mm.
If you keep visualizing, pushing through, telling yourself you're determined,
And then actually acting that way.
you literally build the belief of being a persevering person.
Precisely. So the action point is beliefs are cultivated. You can build new ones.
Which leads to the question, where do these stories come from in the first place?
Good question. The guide mentions conditioning, everything we've absorbed growing up from our environment.
And how we interpret all that.
That's the other key piece, interpretation. Because nothing has automatic meaning, does it?
We assign the meaning.
Exactly. Think about that job rejection again. Same event.
One person thinks, see, I knew I wasn't good enough.
While someone else thinks, okay, feedback. What can I learn? Let's go again. Totally different story, same facts.
It's like our brains are just constantly spinning yarns, trying to make sense of everything.
Yeah, they're storytellers by nature, but, as the guide points out, not always accurate ones.
They mess things up, misinterpret, overgeneralize, distort stuff.
All the time. And that's often where those negative feelings come from.
Those examples in the book really hit home, didn't they? I can't be happy until, or why me? Why always me?
Classic storyteller traps. So yeah, realizing your brain isn't always giving you the straight goods is important.
But the upside is, even if these stories feel permanent, they're not.
Nope. They feel constant because we keep thinking the same thoughts, reinforcing the same pathways.
Ah, okay. So if you consciously swap out the disempowering thoughts,
For ones that actually support you.
then your feelings change and your actions.
That's the chain reaction. You start building a different narrative, a different life.
Now, the guide gets into something really fascinating, our relationships with big life concepts.
Yeah, like your relationship with yourself, with money, with time, love, success, work.
How do you mean relationship?
Well, what are your core underlying feelings and beliefs about these things? Take money. Is your first thought scarcity? Or it's the root of all evil? Or maybe just it's really hard to make?
And those deep beliefs drive how you feel and act around money.
Exactly. They form the building blocks of your overall story in that area.
That makes sense. And it connects to the idea of taking responsibility, right?
Definitely. It's easy to blame external stuff, parents, bad luck, the economy.
But the guide says, as adults, we have a choice.
We do. Accept the situation, work to change the external reality, or, and this is key for our chat, change the story you tell yourself about it.
Like the person blaming their parents versus the one deciding to actively cultivate self-love, celebrate their wins.
Right. It's shifting from blame to ownership of the narrative. That's a really actionable idea.
So, okay, how do we actually figure out what our current story even is? It can be hard to see.
True. The guide suggests looking at a few key things. How excited are you about your life day to day?
Fulfillment levels.
Yeah, fulfillment. Do you feel like you're growing, learning, evolving?
Alignment. Like, does your life feel like it matches who you really are deep down?
Exactly. Those four. excitement, fulfillment, growth, alignment. Use them as a kind of diagnostic tool.
A yardstick for your current narrative.
And then it suggests actually writing it down.
Writing it, like journaling.
Sort of. For key life areas, career, family, money, health, try to capture what's my basic relationship with this concept, what emotions usually come up. Can I summarize my current story in one sentence?
And then, crucially, what's a better story I could tell?
Yeah. What's a more empowering alternative? The example of the supervisor who hated work versus the author reframing career as self-expression really shows the power of this.
So writing it down helps you see it clearly.
Externalizes it, makes it concrete. Very useful exercise.
The guide also lists some common limiting stories people get stuck in. That was relatable.
Oh, yeah. The victim's story, always feeling powerless.
Fear-based stories. What if this bad thing happens?
The self-sacrificing story, always putting others first to your own detriment.
Pride getting in the way. And that big one, I'm not good enough.
It's amazing how common that is, isn't it? Even Neil Armstrong apparently felt like an imposter sometimes.
Wow. And Hollywood stars, too, the guide mentioned.
Shows it can hit anyone. Then there's the I don't have enough story.
Which connects to that hedonic adaptation thing, how we get used to stuff and always want more.
Right. And the antidote there is often gratitude, actively appreciating what you do have.
Recognizing these patterns in yourself is a big first step, isn't it?
Huge. The author even shared their own struggles, like around being self-employed.
Feeling they needed more money to feel okay, or that they had to worry constantly.
Yeah, or not feeling qualified. And then they shared the empowering beliefs they consciously installed instead.
It really prompts you to ask, okay, what are my hidden assumptions?
Exactly. Learn from their example and question your own stuff.
And what's the real cost of holding on to these limiting stories?
Well, fundamentally, they rob you of positive emotions, don't they? Happiness, peace, confidence.
Because feelings come from the story, not just the external event.
That's a core message. So the guide asks, what positive feelings do you want more of? And what thoughts would create those feelings?
It also warns about those traps like I'll be happy when.
Or feeling like you don't deserve to be happy right now.
Yeah. So our stories are directly tied to our emotional life.
Absolutely. And one last thing before we talk about changing the mistakes to avoid.
Ah, right. Like creating a story just to please other people.
Yeah, the funeral anecdote in the book illustrates that powerfully. Live your own story.
Don't let the past completely dictate your future possibilities.
Be honest with yourself about what you really want.
And you have to keep conditioning the new story, right?
Yeah.
It's not a one-time fix.
Exactly. Consistency is key. Avoid those pitfalls.
Okay, great foundation. So we see our story, maybe some limitations. Now, how do we actually change it? Where do we start?
Right, the how-to. The guide introduces this cool idea of creating an avatar.
An avatar. Tell me more.
It's basically the hero of your new story, the person you're choosing to become.
So you consciously design this future self.
That's the concept. You have the power of choice here. It's quite empowering.
And a big part of that is figuring out your core values.
Exactly. Things like maybe freedom or connection or growth or safety. The guide gives examples.
But these aren't just nice ideas, right? They have to be lived.
That's the crucial distinction the book makes. Values guide your actions. They're not just beliefs you hold. Define the values that will drive your new avatar.
Okay, values first. Then what? Choosing your quest.
Yeah, choosing your quest. What's the purpose? What impact does this avatar want to have?
It has to align with those core values, I guess.
Absolutely. It needs to feel authentic. You're encouraged to really visualize this best version of yourself and their story.
Even thinking about, like, your legacy, your epitaph.
Yeah, it prompts you to think big. What message do you want to leave? What impact? Define that compelling purpose.
And how you want to show up, how you want people to feel around you.
Inspired, confident, joyful. Yeah, getting specific about that helps.
Then there's the inner work, the beliefs your avatar needs.
Crucial. And the qualities, too. Maybe courage or discipline or honesty.
And skills, things you might need to learn, like public speaking or leadership.
Right. And the book makes a great point. Feeling like you lack talent isn't a life sentence. Skills can be developed.
So identify what your avatar needs internally and externally.
Exactly. Beliefs, qualities, skills. Nail those down.
Then the guide outlines 3 main ways to actually rewrite the story.
Yep. Change how you see the past, reframe memories. Act differently in the present. And envision a different future. Those are your levers.
Let's tackle the past first. Reframing memories. How does that work? The past happened, right?
Well, yes, But our memory of it, our interpretation, isn't fixed. It's subjective, biased by the stories we've already told ourselves.
Ah, so our memory isn't a perfect recording.
Not even close. So the insight is, your memory is an objective truth.
So how do we actively change that memory or its impact?
The guide suggests focusing intentionally on the positive, like actively celebrate past wins, no matter how small.
Our brains tend to focus on the negative, don't they?
They do, the negativity bias, so you have to consciously counteract it. Revisit joyful moments. Focus on things you did well.
Acknowledge your good intentions, even if things didn't pan out perfectly.
Yes. Remember times you were brave. Feel proud of helping others. Practice gratitude for past good things. Actively recall these positive instances.
And reframing itself, giving past events a more empowering meaning.
Exactly. Avoid jumping to negative assumptions. Like
Right.
that colleague ignoring you example, maybe they were just lost in thought, right?
Instead of assuming they're mad at you.
Right. And the guide gives specific questions for reframing tough stuff. What's great about this? What's the lesson? How did this build character?
Powerful questions to shift the meaning. Okay, lever 2. Acting differently now in the present.
This is huge. Change requires action, not just thinking about it.
It's easy to get stuck just thinking, planning, ruminating.
Totally. Overthinking, analysis paralysis, action breaks that cycle. It's essential.
And action cures fear, the guide says. How?
Because fear lives in the imagination. Action happens in reality. Often, the reality isn't as scary as the imagined version.
And taking action changes your model of reality.
Yes. When you do something you thought you couldn't, your brain literally updates its map of what's possible for you. It expands your limit.
Action builds momentum too, right? Small steps add up.
Absolutely. Consistency with small actions is key. And it changes how you feel. You feel pride, more confident.
Plus, the guide mentions doing more of what you love improves your emotional state.
Simple but powerful. What activities guarantee you have a good day? Do more of those. Identify them.
And that morning reset button idea,
Yeah, consciously letting go of yesterday each morning. Start fresh.
the routine. Smile,
Yeah.
celebrate the new day with gratitude.
Acknowledge impermanence. Live one day at a time. Maybe even try to feel like it's your happiest day.
And get straight out of bed, no snooze button.
Haha, yeah, that's part of it. Try for 7 days, the book suggests. Start each day, consciously reset.
Okay, third lever, envisioning a different future. Visualization.
Right. Using your imagination intentionally to direct your subconscious.
It influences your actions and helps create the results you want.
Exactly. And a good starting point is to ask, where is my current story taking me in 5 years? Be honest about that trajectory.
Oof. That could be a motivator for change right there.
For sure. And then you create a compelling vision for the future, something that really pulls you forward.
That pull boosts focus and motivation in the present.
That's the idea. Create that compelling vision.
Okay, so past, present, future covered. Then the guide shifts to environment. This seems critical.
Hugely critical. It argues environment is often stronger than willpower.
Really? How so?
Think mirror neurons. We subconsciously soak up the attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors of the people around us. Our environment shapes our thoughts, feelings, actions.
So changing your story might require changing your surroundings.
Often, yes. The guide breaks it down. Reduce negative influences, surround yourself with supportive people, and build a strong mental environment.
How do you reduce the negative people practically? That can be tricky.
It suggests strategies like maybe stop sharing your dreams with people who always shoot them down.
Or be really specific when asking for their support so they know how to help.
Exactly. And if they remain unsupportive or actively negative, well, sometimes reducing contact is necessary. Manage that exposure.
And the flip side, actively seek out supportive people.
Yes, the power of proximity. Being around positive, successful people who believe in you rubs off.
So how do you find these people? Join groups.
Yeah, groups with shared interests, entrepreneurs, writers, whatever fits your quest. Invest in programs or communities known for attracting positive people.
The value is often the network, not just the content.
Right. You could even start your own event or mastermind group.
What about finding a mentor?
Good idea. The
Right.
guide talks about being a good mentee, having a track record, being committed, resourceful, willing to execute. Make yourself a good investment for their time.
And networking more generally.
Focus on long-term relationships, giving value first. Build that supportive network strategically.
Then there's the mental environment, what you feed your mind.
Crucial. Books, audio, podcasts. Consciously choose positive, empowering input, like the examples of Steve Pavlina or the author Consistently doing this.
And physical environment, too, like
Yeah.
getting rid of junk food if you want to eat healthy.
Exactly. Make your space support your goals. Remove temptations. Make the right actions easier. Be intentional about your inputs, mental and physical.
Okay, environment covered. The guide then offers some different ways of looking at reality. Powerful models.
Yeah, these are designed to really shift your perspective, help create a more compelling story.
Like subjective versus objective reality.
Right. Subjective reality is the idea that your external world mirrors your internal world. If you think people are boring, maybe the boredom is in you.
Whoa. That puts a lot of responsibility on you.
It does. It encourages taking ownership of your inner state. The guide suggests trying it out, suspending disbelief, asking empowering questions.
And objective reality.
That's about sticking to the facts, separating facts from your interpretation, like the job loss example. Fact, I lost my job. Interpretation, I'm a failure. Objective reality says focus on the fact and what you can do about it or accept it.
So distinguish interpretation from fact?
Helpful. There's also briefly mentioning seeing things from a positive third person's view.
Then there's pronoia, the universe conspiring for you.
Yeah. The opposite of paranoia. Believing the universe or life or people generally want you to succeed.
How does that help?
It fosters expecting good things, seeing challenges as helpful lessons, not attacks, like assuming the audience wants your presentation to go well. Cultivate that positive expectation.
And the love versus fear model.
Looking at your motivations. Are you acting from a place of love-giving, contribution, abundance, or fear-taking, scarcity, competition?
We probably bounce between them, right?
For sure. The point is to become aware of which mode is dominant for you. Are you mainly driven by love or fear?
Food for thought. And then the guide lists specific beliefs and assumptions.
Yeah, 7 powerful beliefs to adopt, like if I do it once, I can do it again. Think of your first sale or client.
Or if others can, I can too. Seeing examples of what's possible.
Beliefs like everything happens for a reason, there are always solutions. Really empowering stuff.
And 9 empowering assumptions.
Things like you're exactly where you need to be right now, the universe is on your side, your story is an invitation to grow. Just powerful perspectives to try on. Choose and integrate these.
Okay, so we have the vision, the environment, new perspectives. Now, how do we make it stick? Integration.
Yes, making it your daily reality. Consistent action is everything here.
It starts with conditioning the mind again.
Right, back to neuroscience. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Repetition strengthens the pathways for your new story.
Like how negative money thoughts might feel familiar, but positive ones feel weird at first.
Exactly. You have to consciously practice the new thoughts and feelings until they become the default. Remember, beliefs don't even have to be rational. A millionaire worrying about gas prices shows that. Repetition builds the pathway.
So adopting the new beliefs for your avatar, how do you refine those?
Ask, why am I not living this life yet? What's really holding me back? And challenge the answers. Those are your limiting beliefs.
Using those challenging questions again. Is it always true? Any counterexamples? What could I do differently?
Yes. Challenge beliefs like, I'm not smart enough. Are you not smart enough in every area of life? Probably not. Look for inconsistencies.
And look for case studies. People who overcame similar things.
Crucial for building your own belief that it's possible. Then create affirmations.
Positive statements to replace the old limiting ones.
Exactly. Present tense, positive form, engage your body and feelings, visualize it. Simple ones like I am courageous or I handle challenges effectively. Create and use these affirmations.
Then habits. The guide really emphasizes habits over willpower.
Because habits automate the behavior. They make change sustainable long term. Good habits can build creativity, confidence, presence.
And it lists 7 key ones.
Yep. Work on your #1goal daily. Read your goals daily. Meditate. Practice gratitude. Consume motivational stuff daily. Self-reflect daily. Exercise daily.
Seems like a lot.
They all work together to improve your emotional state, which is the bedrock of change. Implement these key habits.
And the trick is implementing them. Start small.
Definitely. Just a few minutes of meditation, a short walk, consistency over intensity, especially at first.
Set triggers. Link the new habit to something you already do.
Yes, like meditating right after your morning coffee. And stack them. Create routines. The author shares their morning ritual. Create your own stack.
Maybe try a 30-day challenge to get started.
Great way to build momentum. Use these strategies to build habits effectively.
Next up, self-talk. This seems huge.
Absolutely critical. Your internal chatter determines if you're the hero or the victim in your own mind.
Like Bruce Lee and Muhammad Ali, new words have power.
Immense power. The guide suggests a 7-day self-compassion challenge. Stop beating yourself up. Talk to yourself kindly.
Like, it's okay, I'm doing my best, I have good intentions.
Exactly, and actively use positive self-talk. I can. It's possible.
Avoid those distortions too, the always and never.
Yeah, catch that victim thinking or overgeneralizing, and regularly review your core empowering beliefs.
Remind yourself, success is inevitable. I am responsible.
And transform negative self-talk into affirmations. I don't have time becomes I make time for what's important.
And asking better questions.
Super powerful. How can I, for solutions, what if? For possibilities, who can help me? For resources, where can I find? For environment. Write them down, answer them, manage your self-talk, ask better questions.
Okay, almost there. Visualization again. Using it intentionally.
We do it anyway, often worrying, so why not visualize what you
Now
want?
the steps. Get relaxed. Visualize clearly, like a movie. Feel the emotions of having it,
Feeling it is key, as if it's real now.
and do it often. Morning, night, throughout the day.
Repetition helps impress it on the subconscious. But remember,
Visualization needs action to work.
exactly, combine them. Practice intentional, emotional visualization regularly.
Finally, self-compassion. Because things won't always go smoothly.
So important. Life throws curveballs, setbacks happen. Be kind to yourself when they do.
How do you get back on track when you feel negative?
Try to pinpoint when it started. Was it a big deal, really? Can you consciously shift back to how you felt before?
Remember, feelings pass.
Yeah.
Look at the bigger picture.
Yes, gain perspective. Talk to a positive friend. Avoid the comparison trap. Happiness is internal.
And accept that struggle is part of growth.
It means you're pushing yourself, living your story. Treat setbacks with compassion, learn and persevere. Cultivate that self-compassion.
Wow, okay, that's a comprehensive roadmap.
It really is. So bringing it all together, our stories shape our lives, fundamentally. But the big takeaway from Master Your Destiny is that we absolutely have the power to rewrite them.
It involves understanding the old story, then actively changing thoughts, feelings, actions.
Optimizing your environment, integrating new beliefs, building solid habits. It's a whole process.
And hopefully, this deep dive has given everyone listening a really practical starting point. You've got tools now.
Insights you can start applying today to consciously shape your own mastery series, as you called it, your life story.
So maybe a final thought to leave everyone with, building on all this.
How about this? What's the one small, specific change you could make to your story starting today that feels like it could unlock the biggest positive shift in your future?
Just one small change to start that ripple effect. Something definitely worth pondering. Maybe even dive back into the source material with that question in mind.